one note on the agenda, item 6C under new business, there's a duplicate. It is the same item as A4. We'll start with public comment on agenda items. Mr. Anders has a statement.
Just a reminder, public comments policy of the board is 2 minutes per person, 15 minutes per topic on agenda items. And just so we have a good record of who says what, let's do it one at a time, going up to the podium, state your name, where you're from. You don't have to get into address or anything like that.
Will the public allowed to yield their 2 minutes to another person?
Yes. And additionally, again, public comment is in the discussion period with the board. Any agenda item that the board will take up, they'll discuss it at that point. It's not a back and forth period.
And this is your chance to speak, because you may not be called on any particular agenda item when it's discussed.
Let me know when my 2 minutes is up.
So we'll go ahead and get started. Your name and where you're from.
My name is Cherie Link, and my husband and I own My Happy Place just around the corner, and we are both members of the Somerset Chamber. So I'm speaking for the Somerset Chamber. Our mission is to promote, support, and bridge business with the community through economic development and opportunity. While it's not the job of the Somerset Chamber of Commerce to dictate or enforce policies, business practices, or municipal laws and ordinances, we do believe that we have a duty and responsibility to advocate on behalf of our members when decisions are being made that significantly impact them. When we do speak, we can only do so with the information that we have available to the time at the time to us. It is our understanding that the proposed amendment to Somerset ordinances in section 710(1)A, 710(1)C1, and 12(1)(1)B will end the ability of tubers to exit the Apple River at Village Park. We warn that while it may not be in the intent of the Village Board to end tubing in the community, the proposed closing of Village Park to tubers may become the catalyst for its end, potentially causing financial hardship for other businesses who benefit either directly or indirectly from the tubing industry as a large part of our community's tourism base. Given the information we have received, we estimate a negative impact of approximately $4 to $6 million lost annually in local tourism dollars, and a local tax impact of $307,700 in lost tax revenue, unless all parties involved in these discussions are able to come to an acceptable agreement. While these numbers may differ depending upon the source, one can easily see the reason for concern to a small community like ours if the tubing industry is removed without some other destination to draw visitors here. This information may or may not be complete, or may have even been biased to a certain degree. In the absence of what we, the public, perceives to be clear, consistent, and open information not provided to the public, the only informed decisions one can make are based on the information that we receive at the time from the various parties involved. More specifically, from our members who have a vested interest in the economic prosperity of their own livelihoods in the Somerset community as a whole. Moving forward, is that it?
2 minutes if you want to wrap up in 10 seconds.
And I'll let it continue.
Becca Whitlock, Executive Director for the Somerset Chamber of Commerce. Moving forward, we would like to submit the following recommendations for consideration. That the Village Board table the vote on this agenda item tonight and go back to having discussions where a compromise can be worked out until a solution that all parties are satisfied with has been met and it benefits the whole community. Whereas most citizens in general are not in the habit of writing or reading legally binding ordinances or may not know where to find them, we believe the Village Board may benefit greatly by clarifying the wording of the proposed ordinance so that no one person or entity can misconstrue its meaning or misinterpret the intentions of the Village Board. More information may be needed, not less. We propose, as many community chambers of commerce also aid in promoting tourism in their local communities, that we partner and assist the Village of Somerset, the Town of Somerset, and other tourism-reliant entities to create and promote a community campaign both in and outside of our immediate community to change the perceptions of the Somerset community as more family-friendly and to help tourists. floaters, campers, concert goers, shoppers, and others to better understand the community's expectations when they are visiting Somerset. While both are important to our citizens, we recommend that the village prioritize the revitalization and economic development of the downtown Somerset area and the creation of quality housing for families looking to relocate to the Somerset area above the village park renovation plan. This action will, in our opinion, have a greater, longer-lasting, more positive effect on our community and is a project that most, if not every community, is willing to get behind and support right now. To be clear, we understand that most issues are rarely one-sided, and while we may not always agree on things, we do sincerely appreciate your service to our community. And on behalf of the Somerset Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors and its members, thank you for listening.
My name is Mike Cappers. I'm not a speechwriter, but during my 21 years in this town, I've tried to lead by example as a police sergeant and wrestling coach here for 15 years. Owner of the Hideaway for 10 years, baseball coach for 4, and as owner of Kennedy's Cafe, and a member of the Somerset Chamber of Commerce and the Somerset Lions, I continually strive to be a valued member of this community and a friend to all. I've watched certain people in this town bankrupt people and destroy lives. I've seen things go up in flames for intimidation and insurance reasons. I've seen countless people come to this town and get swindled out of their riches. I've seen people like yourselves get on this board with good intentions of doing what is right, and every time I've seen good people led astray and manipulated by the same faction. You'll probably see some of the corruption out tonight, as I'm told that in the faction or factions that have an financial interest in tonight's ordinance change will not be voting, and now I see they're not even attending. The person leading the charge, who has been called out in meetings nearly 3 years ago by Matt Methune, owner of the amphitheater, and by me a few months ago, and was told, don't speak to conjecture, speak to the facts. The fact is, by your non-presence, your silence, and your conflict of interest, it will ring clear to everybody in the community here tonight. Every vote in the past 3 years that involved anything to do with the amphitheater, with camping, concerts, and anything to do with Float Right Park are all going to be called into question. Your absence rings loud and clear. For the others of you that don't have a financial interest in tonight's decision, I ask you, do you want to continue to be fruits of the poison tree? Do you want to continue to be led down the wrong path and figure out how wrongly you've been misled and betrayed? I'm asking you tonight to not get led down the wrong path. Let the community dictate when the tubing gets shut down. Do not rubber stamp this ordinance change without doing your due diligence. You owe it to your community and to these families. Take the time to meet with campground owners, staff, customers, and business owners that rely on these tourism dollars, and take the time for independent thinking. Let the village do their own impact study and not be a pawn of this corruption.
Wrap it up, please.
Be part of the solution, not part of the problem. I leave you with this quote: the fight for justice against corruption is never easy. It never has been and never will be. It exacts a toll on ourselves, our family, and our friends, and especially our children. In the end, I believe, as in my case, the price will pay off holding on to our dignity. Frank Serpico, and I hope that you guys do as well. Thank you. And I also ask, can we move this up on the agenda for tonight?
Yeah, we'll be.
Thank you.
Anyone else or public comment on agenda item?
I got a question. Does public comment allow for engagement from the board?
No.
Okay, that's later?
What's that?
Is that held for later?
The board has discussion amongst themselves. If they have
Okay.
questions about something, they can ask.
All right, I'll speak. My name's John Goodall. I'm just a resident. I've got no vested interest in any of the businesses actually impacted. Only vested interest in the taxes and how it could potentially impact the business's ultimate well-being, inherently then the community as well as the residents. My daughter goes to Somerset School District, and there was a massive pushback against the referendum because of the proposed or potential impact to property taxes. That's my concern. If businesses, if Somerset stands to lose financial stability or financial gain from proposed taxes or tourism dollars or whatever the case it is, what is the impact to the community? My understanding is the duty of the trustees as well as that of the president is to look out for not only the businesses but the residents as well as the property. property taxes stand to go up if this ordinance is passed. And in fact, the tubing businesses were to deal with that. That's my concern. I only care about the residents here that were already opposed against a small tax. Now we're talking $300,000 potentially annually, long-term, plus the planning. And I asked last time, I asked this of the board, had anybody actually taken into consideration what the financial impact was? And I was told no. Nobody had done that yet because it's just planning at this point, talking about the park specifically. I also asked the question if anybody on the board was able to facilitate and produce documentation on the plan. And I was told I had to attend a park meeting. I've not seen a park meeting on that. So I don't understand really how the ordinance can continue. I also don't understand how the board can start to vote on something that could have a massive negative impact and also not address and have that information publicly available. And maybe I'm misunderstanding what the duty of the board is. But to me, that is step one in planning. I was in the Marine Corps. There's a term called BAMSIS. Begin the planning, arrange reconnaissance, make reconnaissance, complete the plan, issue the order, and then supervise. Supervising being the most important step. When you start to plan, you have to begin. And then
Ask you to wrap it up.
Understood. Then you have to take into consideration what the fallout's gonna be. I asked about that fallout last time. I was told there was no data on that. Has that data been presented or come up with from the board side? That's me.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anyone else wish to speak?
Hi, I'm Chris Kaler. I used to live here. My kids all grew up here, and I moved away for a short time, and now I'm back. And I just want to say how important I think it is that there's 3 businesses in town for our kids to grow up in. My sons were not employed by 2 of the tubing places. They actually got in with Raleigh's, and because of them, my youngest son is now a coach for a Division I football team at an early 20-year-old. And without that supervisory experience that he had gotten from Raleigh's, he never would have had this opportunity to be able to do that in addition to his education. So I think that 3 tubing places for our kids to have jobs at, that's where my concern comes in. There's more opportunities for our Somerset kids to be able to find a place, to be able to learn excellent work techniques, supervisory experience, so that they can move on into higher paying jobs as they educate out of college. So that's all I had to say.
Thank you. We're coming up on our 15 minutes, allow 1 or 2 more.
I'll make it quick. 2 minutes. Good evening, my name is Billy Raleigh. I'm speaking on behalf of River's Edge and the Raleigh family. We've owned River's Edge for 60 years. We owned Dairy Queen for 40 years until we recently sold to Dan Getzman. During those years in business, words like integrity and honesty and treating people fairly have really been a way of life, not just words spoken. We've tried so hard to give back to the community, whether it be allowing ATV traffic to drive through, regular vehicle traffic to drive through, snowmobile clubs, allowing all the tubing facilities to drop off at our location without asking for anything, fundraisers. We've done the best we could to really give back. And unfortunately, I stand here today with kind of mixed emotions of confusion, anger, frustration. I really don't know what to say. In reading the comments from the village and the accusations of promoting offensive behavior and a lewd crowd, it's just actually an insult to me, my family, my legacy. It's irresponsible, it's just wrong. And using those as means to enact this change. The tubing industry has been what it is for a long time, and in my opinion, it's only gotten better over the years. We have verified statistics to prove that. There isn't a lot of verifiable statistics, but we do have verifiable statistics in the incidents reported, and that has been documented publicly many times. In summary, I think it would be in the best interest of everyone that we continue to have collaborative conversations as opposed to just ending this so quickly, really giving us very little time to try to enact change in this community. There's been new ownership, as you know, Steve Kaufman. He's got many ideas and plans, but really how do we have a chance to implement any of those when we're kind of given a shorthand like this? So I hope my comments don't fall on deaf ears. Thank you for your time.
Well, we'll allow two more people. So that
Okay.
they stand.
My name is Steve Kaufman. I am the current owner and operator of River's Edge. And because of the lack of time, and I have plenty of people who are willing to yield their time for plenty of my comments, I'm gonna probably make it a little shorter and ask how many people in this board, by raise of hands, are in favor of this ordinance change? How many are against the change of this ordinance? I'm done talking.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Andrea Jorgensen. Thank you for this opportunity, first of all, to address the council. I do not live in Somerset. I do happen to be on the Somerset Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors, which, by the way, what a great team of leaders in your community. And I just want to say, wow, to you, look at what you got here. You got a lot of people who really care about their community, and that is awesome. So, keep it up, because this is what it's all about, right? It's being heard, and these people here are working in the best interest of this community. And so the only way to make these things happen is to stand up and voice your opinions, and they are here to listen, and I'm sure they'll do justice to your cause. So I just want to mention that I'm here with another perspective. For the last 10 years, I worked with the Hudson Chamber of Commerce and Tourism Bureau. And I missed the initial part that Becca was talking about, but last night we did have a board meeting, and amongst the 4 tubing businesses in town, the estimate was 80,000 visitors are coming to Somerset to go tubing. Now, the average in the state of Wisconsin for tourism spending per day is $82 per person as a tourist to spend in your community. Can you afford to lose that? And it's not just the tubing industries we're talking about here. Your tubers are coming, they're supporting your restaurants, they're buying the gas, they're stopping at your bars. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. And if they're staying overnight, they're supporting the surrounding communities, and hopefully, maybe if a hotel moves into the community, you know, that's another opportunity for Somerset to continue to grow and thrive.
I'll ask you to wrap up here.
I will. You've got a great opportunity. You have the new bridge in Stillwater opening its doors. There's going to be growth in this area that we haven't had before in St. Croix County. Super excited about that. So I think this is an awesome opportunity as a community to find compromise and really make tubing so much better than it's been in the past. So thanks for the opportunity.
At this time, we'll close comment on agenda items unless there's comment on a different agenda item. There being none, public comment is closed. We will be jumping to item 6A, what everybody's been talking about, right after we approve the minutes. Okay? So let's review the minutes from July 16th and August
Speak up
13th.
back here, there's a lot of people that can't hear you. Or either that or allow us to stand behind you. You'll be allowed to happen.
I'll try and speak up. I'm sorry. I'll make a motion to accept the regular meeting minutes of July 16th and the special meeting minutes of August 13th. Motion made and seconded, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. We will be moving down to new business, item 6A, discussion possible approval, ordinance amending sections 7-10-1A, 7-10-1C1, and 12-1-1B. Code of ordinances for Somerset, Wisconsin, intertube rental businesses.
The people have spoken.
Mr. President, I am going to make the motion to approve ordinance 2019-8-653, amending section 7-10-1A, section 7-10-1C1, and section 12-1-1B. Code of Ordinance to the Village of Somerset as presented 8/2019 to the Village Board meeting.
Do you have a second?
I'll second the motion.
People make some noise.
You're full of business owners in here, not one of us raised our hand in favor of
There's
this.
not one person in the room who waves their hand in favor of this.
Now,
There's 10
now is
of
the
you
time for
people.
village board discussion. There was time for public comments to the board. There's been a motion and a second. The board
Discuss it.
can discuss it.
From this guy. We're listening.
Yeah, let's see who all's
What's
gonna
your
say they
reason
want
for
this.
vote coming?
Is there any discussion, anyone of the board members?
Tree plan.
I know two gone already.
15 minutes to express our concern.
Well, I think there is, a little bit of further discussion here by the board, and I think there's some things that the board has to also take into consideration. And that's the majority of the village economic funds that are generated from the businesses and the businesses in our business park. The top 10 businesses employ over 1,000 workers and pay in excess of $450,000 in real estate tax per year. If tubing actually generated the 4 to 6 million to our business, then why do we have a downtown that is struggling to attract new businesses? The economic data provided is grossly exaggerated with no source where that information has come from. And the email subject is an attempt that was circulated earlier today to steer individuals away from the actual tubing issues. And I don't think the board has to go into any more details on that. We've discussed that at several meetings previous to this one. Apparently there was a development firm by the name of IKWE, I believe is the correct pronunciation, IKWE, who is not a member of any of the Economic Development Association that I'm aware of. And I guess I question the expertise on their economic area, reporting the results that they provided to the Chamber of Commerce. So, improving the community image and the reputation will improve the economics and the business of Somerset as it becomes more desirable for all people.
Trying to figure out who you represent.
Who are you talking about?
People.
Why don't you check them people out?
Yeah, look at the
If you
developers
don't
you're
know
bringing
anything
in.
about
This
them.
is our community guide.
You just
Where-
are the
Tubing for
people.
tubing, it has the history of tubing in our town, that's what made our town.
Every
You
one of those
represent-
businesses you
Family-owned
referred to,
business.
SMC,
represent
everyone
me.
came to this town when tubing was here first.
I was-
Everyone in your business park, you just mentioned.
You haven't answered any of the
we
questions
need
They
from
to
did
last
not
meeting.
come here because of tubing. Thanks for proving the point of the people.
I just came here from Australia a couple of months ago, and I've watched while I've stayed here for about 3 weeks.
I'm sorry,
Every
public
single
comment,
penny of this
excuse
town
me, public
went off
comment
that
ended,
industry.
and it's up to the board discussion right now, thank you.
Perfect. Let them vote. The people need to see it.
One thing I'd like to point out, I think there's a misconception that the board is trying to shut down tubing.
That's cute, Bart.
Everyone
Yeah.
knew what you understand what we say. None of you cared what was said in here. If you did, it would be unanimous no.
You were
Every
all
one
up
of
there
us said
rolling
no.
your eyes.
This ordinance does not shut down any business.
It sure
Oh,
does.
whatever.
Guaranteed.
Okay, you said that
Including
3
the
weeks
ATV
ago.
And the snowmobile.
What are the repercussions gonna be?
Where would you have them get out then?
Where are they supposed to exit the river then?
That's up to the business to.
Last board,
Basically have a monopoly.
Giving water to somebody who was hot working, you gave them a ticket for that.
And what happened?
It's ridiculous.
last committee meeting, you said you were gonna set up a tubing committee to figure this out. What happened to that?
Doesn't belong to you, it
Some
belongs to
gentleman on the
us.
board said he was gonna set up a tubing committee to help figure this
What were
out.
the results to that?
What's
And the
that?
DNR was supposed to get involved. Did they get involved?
Sorry, Bart.
Where was that? You have not said.
Well, if his buddy
Melvin
didn't have plans. You had no intentions of shutting down tubing.
Exactly.
Hey, we're not shutting
Yeah.
tubing down.
You said that last time.
So I'm
Yeah,
gonna
but
talk,
we're
call a
not-
spade a spade, I'm calling all
Believes
of you
that, but-
frickin' liars.
You wanna call people liars, you better all think about it.
Mr. President, can we take a vote on this?
Is there any other discussion?
Have one, determine vote.
And just, you know, again, so the board is clear.
Yeah.
Delay
Till
the
a-
vote.
till after
Delay
election.
it.
Delay it. Why don't
Delay
you
the
delay
vote.
it?
Till
Let
after
the
the
community
election.
vote.
Delay the vote.
So again, the board has had a chance to review the ordinance and the findings of fact, correct? Okay, just make sure that's noted in the minutes.
Well, make sure everything's noted in there, cause at last meeting minutes, you didn't note a few things that happened at the meeting. That happened to me at this meeting, and it's not even documented in the meeting minutes. But everything else is documented when somebody else talks, their name is mentioned in the meeting minutes.
So.
And this
for-
individual
so for the
wasn't.
village board, here's what the ordinance does. 3 things. It clarifies the definition of intertroop rental business. It also clarifies that inner tube rental licenses won't be issued if the designated entry or exit point is from the Apple River at Village Park. And then it also says in terms of a prohibited activity, essentially that an inner tube rental business, can't designate its customers to exit at Village Park. So those are the three things it does. The findings of fact that the village has put together have come from staff and other members.
Staff.
So, that's what's before you tonight. It's a policy call for the board. Who owns the park?
Who owns it?
Is this a public park? I mean, if I drive my car in there, am I gonna be kicked out of there because I drive my car in there?
You can't drive your car in there.
Hopefully the 2.5 million people walking in the cities will see how this board reacts to the constituents.
Because there's a question about the village park,
You're the one that's got the
village
biggest voice.
board has the authority and jurisdiction to make rules and regulations and ordinances regarding use of the village park.
Grow up.
It's based upon your legal
Taxes on the village park.
That's real.
We pay the taxes on the
Okay, we're
park.
gonna take a roll call vote. Ally?
That's what's
Table it.
People have to be.
You have to live with yourself, yes.
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 Tony? It has been
Don't even think about doing that.
passed.
Yeah, who voted what?
Who voted? Who voted?
They all voted, yes.
Who voted yes?
We didn't see it.
Trying to get them to work together instead of just shutting some people down.
It's
That's
the
ridiculous.
town. You guys don't care about it, obviously. It's 10 people against the whole town. Really?
Where's the other money gonna come from?
Whatever happened.
If there's an extra.
A splash pad?
We have the rest of the meeting we need to get through, and you're welcome to stay if you like.
Oh, you are good.
Yeah, this will be one of the last meetings you guys are at. And I'm talking
With
to you,
any
I'm
luck.
talking to all you trustees.
I was just curious.
You
Don't you
just
see what
screwed
they're-
everybody you stood up for.
Good job, guys.
Way to go.
What was the vote?
Everyone, wait till they go home. I
We
wanna
didn't
be
hear
as proud
it.
as this.
We need it recorded so we can hear it. I didn't hear it.
Not a single one. Don't they have to say my twice, one at a time?
No.
Is it not that way?
Everything is.
Do they not have to vote it one at a time? Follow the rule of law.
Do you own a business?
We're
Do you own a
moving on
business?
with our
Any of
meeting.
you own businesses?
I'm not taking questions.
Next
on-
agenda item, MSC.
Well,
That's
everybody
a no.
just keep talking.
Boo.
Every one of you are fucking liars.
How dare
It's a
you?
waste of our people, our time. Everyone that came out of their valuable family's time tonight, you
Out of our
wasted it
business
for a
time, we all work.
preconceived meeting. Didn't matter who said anything today, obviously.
I mean, look at
Obviously.
Let's hope you got it all documented.
In this room, ask you for something else.
I hope your families suffer from
You're
it.
gonna change things that it doesn't.
What a waste
cost
of time.
Your families, you guys should probably be proud of yourselves.
You're an embarrassment.
Embarrassment to this whole community.
All yours.
Embarrassment.
There's a way around it, absolutely.
Embarrassing. You people are embarrassing.
Anybody here wants to run, I'll vote for it. Anybody but them.
Sad, gentlemen. And Kelsey. Very sad.
Thanks, Gunther.